And welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Washington, D.C. Let's take a look at our bracket. We have our semifinal set. One of the matches is actually fully underway here. The one on the bottom, Drew Tunison versus Jared Boettcher, is going. Right now, Tunison's on Dredge, Boettcher's on Sneak and Show. We're going to be jumping in for Game 2 momentarily. The other match has just been set. Sam Black just defeated Craig Wesco to advance to the semifinals, where he will be playing against Owen Turtenwald with Blue, White, Red Delver. Sam Black is on Bant. So stacked top 8 here. And you can take a look at the feature match area. Those guys are still finishing up. You see Sam's checking his Twitter.
Chewing on an apple.
Getting a little sustenance here. And Craig Wesco looks in good spirits, even though he was just knocked out of the tournament. And then just in the secondary table there, right here, we have Jared Boettcher versus Drew Tunison. Let's take a look at their sideboards. Sideboard on the right is one we got a little preview of early on accident, but it's that's the Dredge sideboard there.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Not a deck that is known for being great at sideboarding. It has all of its slots dedicated to doing what it wants to do. Not a ton of flexibility, but there's definitely some in there.
I mean, since there's 100% knowledge, the players can see their opponent's deck lists. It gives Drew a much bigger advantage here, knowing exactly what he needs to be afraid of, exactly what he needs to board in. I mean, looking at Jared Boettcher's sideboard, the real problem cards are Grafdigger's Cage, right? So perhaps those two Nature's Claims come in from Drew's side. He knows that, you know, he doesn't need to be too afraid of Leyline of a Leyline of the Void, right? Which is Dredge's #1 fear. Potentially also the Blood Moon, but usually by the time that Jared can get out the Blood Moon,
way too late.
Yeah, Drew already has enough cards in his graveyard. It actually seems to favor the Dredge deck here. That's one of the problems with going light on Graveyard Hate in your sideboard is if you happen to face against the one Dredge player in the tournament, that one guy.
Yep.
Drew Tunison is that guy.
I mean, does Grafdigger's Cage really do anything for Jared Boettcher in this matchup?
He can't put Icrid into play, right?
Okay, so that's a start.
And he can't cast, like, Dread Return or any of his flashback
But he
cards.
can still make zombies with Bridge from Below, right?
Yeah, but it's tough for him to create zombies from Bridge from Below if he can't flashback Cabal Therapy.
Okay.
He can't flashback Dread Return, right?
What about Narcomoeba? Can he get those in through a Grafdigger's Cage?
I don't think so.
Okay. So it does quite a bit then.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was just confirming that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking.
Yeah, one Narcomoeba is put in the graveyard.
You know, I represent the viewer here, right? And we don't all play Dredge all day every weekend, so it's important for me to ask questions.
I used to be that guy, that one guy, the Dredge player. Everybody hates.
All I heard is, I'm that guy everybody hates.
Thanks, Marshall.
That's all I heard. Look, I didn't agree. So Jared's up a game, it seems, off of from Sneak and Show. But that game was going on while our last quarterfinal game was going on, so we didn't get a chance to see how it actually went.
But, yeah. Surprising that the Sneak and Show deck was able to combo off before Dredge got somewhere. I mean, you have to imagine that Dredge has a pretty good matchup against Sneak and Show just game 1. It's got a lot of hand disruption, which is good against Sneak and Show. It's not particularly vulnerable to counterspells in the same way that Sneak and Show is vulnerable to counterspells. So I have to imagine what happened was that Jared was able to get a really quick combo off. Like a quick show and tell, turn 2 or something, maybe a quick sneak attack.
Okay. And get in there for the kill as soon as humanly possible. You certainly don't want to give the Dredge player too much time. This opening turn from the Dredge player, the first turn and the second turn are so huge. And we're underway.
Cephalid Coliseum into Lionside Diamond.
Wow.
Really good start. If Drew has a breakthrough, which he does, it's just an amazing start. He
does have a breakthrough,
Cast breakthrough and crack Lionside Diamond. Draw 4, which effectively mills himself for 20 cards.
Yeah.
Depending
He's thinking about it here, though.
It's the optimal start, and that's exactly why Jared's going to take this opportunity and Force of Will the Lionside Diamond. He has to.
I heard what happened last time.
Jared says, I remember what happened last time.
So now Drew's options have really faded. He doesn't have a red mana source for the Faithless Looting. He can cast. I mean, it's not the end of the world for him to just cast Breakthrough here.
But he's not going to. He's just going to pass the turn back. So let's see what Jared could come up with. He draws a City of Traders. That's one of his accelerators. He's just going to pass the turn back here. But if he has a Show and Tell and a Fatty here, he could potentially go off turn 2.
Wow. Gemstone Mine off the top for Drew.
There's that red source you were mentioning.
So he likely wants to use Faithless Looting first, drop his Dredgers in the yard so that when he casts Breakthrough for 0, he can dredge for a whole bunch.
Okay. Faithless Looting. There's another Force of Will in hand, though, for Jared. What's the other card? He didn't want to exile it, so he says, sure. Loot away.
Looks like his only Dredgers are these Golgari Thugs. Not the best, but still get the trick done at Dredge 4.
His best one, Golgari Grave Troll?
Yep. GG Troll, as it's known.
Attempt to break through.
Breakthrough for 0. Breakthrough says discard your hand, or sorry, draw 4 cards, discard down to X cards. And that's going to get Force of Will.
It is.
Removing Divert. So Drew, I mean, it's still not the end of the world for Drew. He's got his Dredgers in his graveyard, which is the important thing.
Yes.
If he draws another, if he somehow can get another land or another mana source at some point, which seems unlikely because he's going to be dredging for the rest of the game, he can flash back that Faithless Looting.
So Jared can actually play Sneak Attack this turn, thanks to that Lotus Petal off the top. And if his last card is a Grizzlebrand, which I think it is, next turn he's going to be able to play Grizzlebrand.
But we know, wow, this is going to be an epic turn. We know that Drew has Cabal Therapy in his hand, so if he can name the right one, he can knock that out of his hand and do something pretty awesome here.
All right, Dredge 4, and that's a key one, getting an Narcomoeba for the flashback.
Yeah, now
it doesn't matter.
He can flashback Cabal Therapy. He can name one and then the other.
So even if he's wrong, he'll be right.
But I mean, still facing a Sneak Attack is really scary. Basically, any one of these cards Jared can draw.
Yes.
Either Gristlebrand or Emrakul, and immediately
he just hits the perfect 4 cards.
That's pretty insane. Narcomoeba, Bridge from Below, Icarid. Off of that Dredge.
Not bad. Not a bad Dredge for Drew Tunison. Wow.
I mean, still not. This match is still not over. Jared just peels an Emrakul off the top. Or Gristlebrand's probably a little better than Emrakul. Okay, so flashback Cabal Therapy with Narcomoeba. I'll get a 2/2 zombie. What's he gonna name?
He named Emrakul.
Okay.
But it's Grizzlebrand. Play Cabal Therapy, name Grizzlebrand, get that thing in your graveyard.
Pass it back to you, setting up for an awesome turn next turn with Cephalid Coliseum, cracking to dredge even more cards.
And he passes it back. So here's incredibly important top decks for Jared. Looking for something to put into play with Sneak Attack, but also even a Brainstorm, which I think is what he drew there.
Brainstorm.
Yes, because it looks like he's going to get another turn potentially.
So it's possible for him to get a land and a...
There's a Force of Will, a Grizzlebrand.
And a mountain. So next turn he can hide the Gristlebrand on top of his library, play the mountain on his turn.
All right, so next turn he will have a Grizzlebrand active. He keeps a Force of Will in hand. And here comes some Dredge. Dredge 4 for Thug. He gets a Narc Amoeba back in his hand.
They're back in play.
Excuse me, back in play, thank you. Still has a bridge from below in his graveyard.
It's very likely that Drew should have responded to the Icarid trigger by popping his Cephalid Colosseum, so he could dredge through a bunch of cards and potentially find a black creature for him to bring out an Icarid and then dredge again for his turn.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the tricky things with Dredge. Stacking those Icarid triggers correctly is pretty important. But instead he opted just to draw for his turn, draw the Golgari Thug via Dredge 4. Still not in a terrible position. And with that Gristlebrand hidden on the top of Jared Boettcher's library, it seems like it's going to be tough for Drew to do something good here. Now, if he can somehow get Jared below 14 life, he can force him to only be able to draw 7 cards, meaning that it's possible that Drew would get another turn. He's thinking through his options. Seems very likely he's going to crack the Cephalid Colosseum here. Does he have another treasure in his yard? I don't think so.
He's going to crack the Colosseum. Nah, see, there's quite a few cards off camera, it turns out.
No dredgers in his yard. He's just going to draw 3 straight up.
Slide your graveyard over so it can be under.
We're going to get that graveyard moved over.
Yeah.
It's real awkward because he doesn't do that normally. You drew 2.
He may have not had Threshold on his upkeep, I'm being told.
Okay.
It's a possibility. It's tough to count when we can't see all of the,
absolutely.
the graveyard.
Yep.
Is it okay to start the other match?
Okay, so Drew's going to discard 3.
He's playing pretty deliberately. He's been reminded by the judge to keep the pace moving. Dredge's not an easy deck to play, though.
No, there's a lot of decisions, like in any Legacy deck, there's a lot of decisions, and any one small mistake could spell the end for you, especially when you're looking in the semifinals, down a game.
Here's Cabal Therapy
I have a lot of filters.
to get 2 zombies now that he has 2 bridge from belows in his yard.
He's going to target himself and name Golgari Thug to get rid of those dredgers from his hand.
Okay, and he's going to get a chance to discard both of them thanks to Therapy.
And if he wants to use Dread Return, he can, although...
I think he's just showing him his hand.
Oh, there's a Gristlebrand. Wow. I did not see that get milled into his graveyard, and that's gigantic.
Wow.
So he can use Gristlebrand and draw 7, dredge for a ton, potentially go off this turn.
Wow, he can draw 7 with multiple dredgers in the graveyard here and just put essentially his whole yard in the turn?
Yes.
In the graveyard? Wow.
Like, can actually draw 14 cards.
Uh-huh.
And if he happens to draw into just naturally into a mountain and a Faithless Looting, he can throw away the Flamekin Zealot in his hand and go off this turn.
Okay.
So he's going to dredge 4, dredge 5, dredge 6.
3, 4, 5, and 6.
Dredge 6 again. Who needs a library anyway?
Or a hand. I mean, he's got a couple of cards. He'd rather not have them there.
Dredge 6 yet again. So he's 5 cards deep in his Gristlebrand.
He is.
We know that Jared effectively has the win on the following turn.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I'll probably forget half of it.
All right, so all those cards that are in Drew's hand are actually part of his graveyard, which is also all the cards that are on the battlefield here.
His Flamekin Zealot is in his hand, which is kind of an awkward place for it.
Uh-huh. All those Golgari Grave Trolls are actually going to be in his hand.
Yeah.
They're sitting on the battlefield, but they're not actually there. It's a little hard to follow when you're watching Dredge, but he has the 4th Golgari Grave Troll, so this is going to get him 6 more cards into his yard. Sees a trigger from Narcomoeba. And how many cards does he have left in his yard? 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I'm playing with fire. You can't dredge if you don't have enough cards. Is he going to be able to go off this turn?
I assume neither of us cares enough about their splitting.
Well, he's thinking if he wants to go down to a single card in his library, right, for his 7th draw, and that's what he's going to do. He's going
to go down to 1. 5 from the Stinkweed in. And I believe he's just got 1 card left in his yard here. All right, in his library, excuse me. Everything else is either in his graveyard or in his hand. And Jared says, I'd like to see your graveyard. I mean, Drew can go off here somehow, right?
I don't know.
Isn't that how this works?
He can get 3 creatures, that's for sure. Because he's got bridges in his graveyard. He can sacrifice that Narcomoeba. I think there's 1 more Cabal Therapy in his graveyard. The problem is that he can't get that Flamekin's out that's stuck in his hand into his graveyard until the following turn, and that seems to be the only real way he can win on this turn. So yeah, he can sacrifice the Narcomoeba.
All right, so he's going to Cabal Therapy himself, Saki Narcomoeba, get a couple of triggers. 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the bridge from belows. He's going to name Flamekin Zealot, I'm assuming. Put it in the graveyard, and I think he had a Dread return.
There's another Dread return.
Okay, yeah.
So he can sacrifice 3 of his tokens, or perhaps 1 of his Gristlebrand, or his Gristlebrand and 2 tokens to get 5 guys plus Flamekin Zealot. Let me do the math on that.
So
that
he
should
gets
be
4
15,
triggers, so that's 6
exactly.
creatures. Yes, plus the Flamekin.
And that should be it.
And that's it. So Drew Tunison finds a way. It took a little doing, but we got there.
It's a puzzle with Dredge.
Yeah, and he evens up the match between him and Jared Boettcher. They're, yeah, he says it's
exactly
a really
18.
complicated game state. You get a look at our feature match area where Sam Black and Owen Turtenwald are getting ready to start their semifinal match. The match we're watching is a little bit ahead. They had a head start on this one, so that's why we're over there.
So I think we're going to switch over to table A.
Yeah, I think we want to see Sam Black versus Owen Turtenwald here. We'll keep a close eye on the back table, though, and we'll keep you guys updated on that match as best we can.
Okay. Do you want me to hold them? No, you guys are fine.
And again, Owen Turtenwald on the blue-white-red Delver deck, Sam Black on his Bant deck. See who's going to go into the finals to face off the winner of Jared Boettcher and Drew Tunison. It's going to be an exciting match between 2 top 25 rated Magic players. Owen Turtenwald, 22nd in the world rankings right now. Sam Black, 10th in the world rankings right now. These players looking at their opening hands. Owen gets to play first in this game, or gets the play draw decision, because he was 5th seed going into the top 8. Sam Black was the lucky 8th seed. And play starts turn 1 Delver, exactly what Owen wants to see, the perfect opening for him. And he can follow that up with a number of different things, but a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic is what he's looking. Is there going to be a transformation?
Does not transform. So Owen starting his 2nd turn here. Mapping out the plan of attack against Sam Black. He definitely knows the deck that Sam Black's on well. One of Owen's good friends, Reed Duke, is the one who's been kind of experienced success in pushing that deck.
Okay, so Owen is going to crack the fetch and play Stoneforge Mystic here.
Opening himself up to a daze, potentially.
Yeah, and it looks to be what Sam's going to do.
Now, I believe that Owen has Force of Will and Brainstorm in hand, so he could counter back if he feels that the Stoneforge is worth fighting over at this stage of the game.
Attention players, you signed up for Wacky Draft number 62. Your event is about to begin. Please report to the
right.
event stage. Once again, Wacky Draft number 62.
And there it is.
Daze. Yeah, Owen still needs to shuffle his library, but he's hoping that this Stoneforge Mystic resolves. He's actually just going to accept the daze, not going to force will it back. Wants to keep that for something later. And so Owen's shuffling from his polluted Delta, and we'll pass the turn back to Sam Black, 10th rated player in the world.
Owen Turtenwald's 22nd rated player currently on the top 25 Magic Pro rankings. So a nice little matchup here in the semifinals from Washington, D.C. It's a legacy fight.
That daze set Sam back a turn, but
it did.
Pretty important to not let that Stoneforge Mystic resolve. It sucks, though, that he has to face down a Delver of Secrets. If that Delver of Secrets happens to transform in the following turn, it's going to be really tough.
Yes.
For Sam to come back.
All right, another land, different one this time though for Sam Black. Passes the turn, and there it is. Lightning Bolt is going to transform that Delver of Secrets.
That's huge.
And that's massive. Now Sam Black is under a lot more pressure, and he's going to start taking a lot of damage here. Drops down to 15, and a follow-up Stoneforge Mystic for Owen Turtenwald.
There's a second daze from Sam Black if he wants to use it.
Can he afford to keep bouncing his own lands here?
Can he afford to let Stoneforge Mystic resolve?
I don't think either.
I think his hope is to daze here and then at some point Swords to Plowshares, the Insectile Aberration. And that's exactly, that Swords to Plowshares is exactly what Owen's holding back the Force Will for.
To protect.
Yeah.
Now, do you think he might fire it off here, or is he going to repeat the same play?
It depends.
Sam taps for blue, but also dazes.
Yeah, so he can't get dazed back. And if he happened to have a Spell Pierce, a Miser's Spell Pierce.
He is. He's going to Force of Will now. Owen Turtenwald making the move, and it works. So Stoneforge Mystic resolves. He can't get Batterskull fast enough, throws it on the table, and passes back. And if you'll look, Sam Black, no permanence, nothing.
Does not look good for Sam Black here.
Daze is sweet, but it is not without its downside.
Daze is sweet when your opponent doesn't already have a Delver of Secrets.
Yeah.
Right? It sucks that Sam was on the draw this match because he placed worse seed in the top 8, and he couldn't have dazed the Insectile Aberration. If he could have dazed the Insectile Aberration, this game would have been completely different.
I like the rando too. Hopefully I'm the rando that whole
Oh, man, and there's the Swords to Plowshares off the top there, but it's a little late after he went and got an island.
So Owen can play his third land here, attack in, end of turn, flash in a Batterskull, and start crashing in with the 4/4 lifelinking Germ token. Sam did draw the Swords to Plowshares, but, I mean, get rid of a 3/2, get a 4/4.
Still, he's got to find a way to stem the bleeding here as soon as possible. All right, pass the turn back, activate Stoneforge Mystic, activation resolves, make a Batterskull, make a Germ token, triggers all over the place. And we're still on the end step here. So this is where Sam Black looks to want to fire off and does in fact fire off his Swords to Plowshares on the Germ token.
Yeah. Makes sense at this exact moment. Another
Swords to Plowshares, and Lightning Bolt in hand for Owen Turtenwald, but he doesn't care about that right now. He's got the upper hand as far as direct pressure goes. He has his opponent now on a 1-turn clock thanks to that Lightning Bolt. So Sam Black has to find something to even the scales, and he has to find it right now.
Sam knows about the Lightning Bolt, too. He knows that
that's right.
It's coming, and he's just going to scoop him up.
And he's just going to scoop him up. So Owen Turtenwald wins a quick one over Sam Black, forcing him to use Daze twice early in the game and setting Sam Black back so far on mana that he couldn't recover. Are we going to check in on... Okay.
There you get a look at Owen Turtenwald, 22nd in the top 25 pro rankings, Platinum Pro, 12 Grand Prix top 8s. This will be his 13th. No wins. He's had multiple finals appearances. He had a final appearance in a Legacy Grand Prix in Columbus, Ohio in 2008, lost in the finals to Steve Sadin. He lost in the finals to Brad Nelson in this very room 3 years ago in 2010. That was standard. Looking to take back and take a championship here this weekend, already a game up on Sam Black. Sam Black is 10th in the top 25 pro rankings. Gold Pro, last seen 3rd place at Pro Tour Theros just a little over a month ago in Dublin, Ireland. An amazing deck builder, considered one of the best deck builders on Team SCG for that event.
Yep.
Players taking a look.
Are we missing a player from that other match?
Yes.
Looks like we might have having a little break. Yeah. We're going to stick with this match here. We want to follow this one to its conclusion. I'm told that there was a Grafdigger's cage on the battlefield on the other one, which, as we mentioned earlier, is going to slow down the Dredge player considerably. So
there you get a look at the players' sideboards. Take a look at Owen Turtenwald and Sam Black's sideboards. Figure out what they may or may not board in. True Name Nemesis seems great coming out of Owen's sideboard. Maybe those Grim Lavamancers come down. Potentially the Wear and Tear and Pyroblast. From Sam Black, maybe those Swan Songs, the Spell Pierce. The second Umezawa's Jite, Vendilion Click.
Okay. They do have each other's deck lists, so there's definitely a little bit of back and forth here as far as that goes.
But interesting to see if this is the matchup that Owen wanted to see against Sam Black. We saw how he handily defeated Sam Black in that last game. It also shows how important being on the play as opposed to the draw is in Legacy, and how important it is to have a higher seed going into top 8. Like we said before, Owen Turtenwald came in as the 5th seed, so he got to choose whether or not to play or draw against Sam Black. Sam came in as the lucky 8th seed. And it was in that game that Owen was able to resolve a turn 1 Delver before Sam could do anything.
A lot of magic coming up for you guys in the next coming weeks here. Grand Prix Albuquerque Standard, November 23rd and 24th, a.k.a. next weekend. Grand Prix Vienna. It's going to be covered by our European coverage time, November 30th through December 1st. Grand Prix Dallas-Fort Worth, also standard, all 3 of those events, December 7th and 8th. And Grand Prix Prague leads us into the new year, playing Modern, January 10th and 12th. Please do join us. We'd love to see you.
And there you get a look at our semifinals table. Big crowd has gathered here in Washington, D.C. to watch these players battle it out.
You called it. You said Owen Turtenwald.
Yeah.
And he is now up a game. He's 1 game away from making it back to the finals of Grand Prix Washington, D.C. here.
Yeah, 2nd time in a row.
He's not from this area, but he sure runs it when he's here.
Yeah. It's also interesting to remember that last Grand Prix Washington, D.C. was the biggest event in North America at the time. And this was before the rules of Grand Prix had changed, so it was a variable amount of rounds. It was a ton of rounds of standard. And Owen just round after round crushed people with his Jundak back in standard. Just walk up to him every round. He was just doing the same thing, casting Bloodbraid Elves into Lightnings, just destroying people round after round after round.
Hurting my feelings.
I think he had one of the best records after Swiss. I think one loss only in that event.
Unbelievable.
It was like 16 or 17 rounds. You can hear the players talk a little bit. And play is about to resume. Players are about to draw their opening hands here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
This is going to be exciting.
Okay, here we go.
So Sam Black on the play this time. No free turn 1 Delvers for Owen Turtenwald this time. He's going to have to earn them. All right, both players have kept. No turn 1 play for Sam Black. He just passes the turn back lightning bolt off the top for Owen Turtenwald. He does have a Delver. Is it going to resolve? It does resolve, so he does in fact get a Delver turn 1. Sam Black is going to go crack a land, and does he have a removal spell for it?
Yeah, Swords to Plowshares or
he could do it now. He could wait to play around days by doing it on his turn if he has a land drop.
Probably
Firing
better
it off right now. Swords to Plowshares, your Delver of Secrets.
Okay, what you got, Owen?
Sam Black picking a fight early here.
Is that a daze? No, Owen's letting it resolve.
Okay. So Sam Black has neutralized that threat. He's got Brainstorm, True Name Nemesis, a few lands, and then one other spell at the back there, a Daze.
Owen does have another Delver in hand.
Okay. So he can get the offensive going quickly. Here's a Stoneforge Mystic for Sam Black. And that is also resolving. So Owen Turtenwald, no counter spells here. And Sam Black says, all right, here we go. Floodgates open. Once he saw that the Swords to Plowshares resolved, you know, he can run that out as a spell that he'd like to resolve. If it doesn't, he says, sure, here's a Stoneforge Mystic. You know, how many dazes do you have, right? Only can pass one per turn and forces him to have like Daze and Force of Will. He doesn't have both. In fact, he has neither. And now he gets to not only Swords to Plowshare, Owen Turtenwald's early threat, but also follow up with a Stoneforge Mystic getting a Batterskull right afterwards.
Okay, we've got a result from the back table for you guys. Jared Boettcher defeats Drew Tunison 2-1 and will advance to the finals here at Grand Prix Washington, D.C. There will be no Dredge in the finals.
All right, Lightning Bolt finds one of his more common targets in Legacy, a Stoneforge Mystic.
And Owen has that second Delver he can use here, or cast here.
And a Delver of Secrets for Owen Turtenwald.
Is there going to be a Daze? That's a Daze.
Okay. So even though Sam Black had one of his main threats killed by a Lightning Bolt, he's able to keep Owen Turtenwald threat light here as well.
It's actually a pretty good play from Sam to not use the Daze on turn 1 because he had his Sword Splashers, but wait until after he cast his Stoneforge Mystic to use it on turn 2.
And there it is, True Name Nemesis from Owen Turtenwald. A new card, fairly new to the format, and we're going to see a Brainstorm. This looks like he's going to dig for a Force of Will.
We're going to fight over this one. Or a Daze. Nothing. Sam figuring out what cards he wants to put back. That Swords to Plowshares is not going to do very much against the protection from Sam Black, true name Nemesis.
You're done. Nope.
If this true name Nemesis resolves, Sam Black is going to be in a world of hurt.
Sam can dig one card deeper
With the second
brainstorm, but
wow, and try to find a Force of Will?
he'll have another blue card to do it.
Or a Daze?
I think he's got a true name Nemesis of his own. We know that Owen has a second true name Nemesis. Just showing you how important what we think is the most important card that has happened this weekend is.
Mm-hmm. It has made a big impact, no doubt about that.
Okay, Sam's going to go for the second brainstorm. You can see how dejected he is.
Yeah, when he throws it down, I mean, Owen's got to be happy to see that. Owen kind of looks at his 2 lands and true name Nemesis and says, sure.
Yeah, spending one of the most powerful cards in your deck to just get one card deeper when normally allows you to see so many new cards and filter your worst cards.
We know those 2. Is this one a Force of Will? No, it's a Ponder. It's not a Daze. It's not a Force. And I think this true name Nemesis is going to hit the battlefield here.
Yeah.
And Sam says it resolves. Go ahead. Batter Skull off the top for Sam Black.
Yes. Sam's going to play his own true name Nemesis here. And Owen very likely is going to jam his second true name Nemesis down.
And we have a good old-fashioned race, although it seems to
One's
favor,
going at double the speed.
Yeah, double the speed, and also starting with a head start on top of it. So Owen Turtenwald could be on the verge of making the finals here, unless Sam can find a way to get that batter skull in play or race somehow, some way. True name Nemesis.
It seems a little unlikely that Sam is going to be able to get that batter skull out
Yeah.
anytime soon because of the wasteland that Owen has.
Yep.
Okay, attack you for 3 and play my own guy.
Sam Black said, it seems like this favors you. And he's right. Another true name Nemesis, and that one's going to resolve if the other one did. And this looks like it might be it here, as it's only going to take a few short turns for Owen Turtenwald's true name Nemesis to take down Sam Black. He's going to dig. Land, another true name Nemesis.
Well,
could he make it a race here? I mean, is it? He does
needs
have
like
a
an
Swords to
Umezawa's
Plowshares. Okay, that's what he needs, huh? Because he has a Swords to Plowshares, which you can use to gain a little bit of life.
If he wants to destroy his own creature.
That's the problem, is that it also takes the offensive capabilities away from Sam as well. So pretty tough spot here.
Yeah, no detention sphere. That'd be good. It's the same idea as the Maelstrom Pulse trick. You detention sphere your own true name Nemesis, gets rid of your opponent's.
You certainly have to bend over backwards to take care of a true name Nemesis.
Okay, ponder here.
Owen Turtenwald knows that Sam Black is in desperation mode. He's digging and digging, trying to find something somehow. Doesn't see it here either. Brainstorm, land, Swords to Plowshares.
Okay. It's one of those things. If you're Owen, you're behind the drive. You're in the driver's seat. You can see yourself racing towards the finish line, just hoping that somebody doesn't come up behind you with a blue shell. Just gripping his seat, bracing for impact.
All right, so Sam Black shuffling away those 3. Those aren't going to get it done for him. He has precious few draw steps left. Owen Turtenwald can do nothing right now except for watch as Sam Black attempts to find a way to deal with this incredibly difficult to deal with creature, true name Nemesis. 3 of them on the battlefield in the semifinals here. It's a Knight of the Reliquary. He's going to attack. 17 says go, untap, draw step, Stoneforge Mystic. Nothing else really matters here, right? It's either these true name nemesis are going to attack, kill Sam Black in 3 turns, or they're not.
Yeah, it also puts Sam in this position that he can't crack a fetch land.
It does, but it looks like the Stoneforge Mystic could potentially aid in the process here too with an Umezawa's Jitte. Now Sam can't really attack anymore either, as the Stoneforge could just attack on its own and represent lethal damage alongside those true name nemesis. So looking very grim for Sam Black down the stretch here. But for those of you Owen Turtenwald fans, he could be in the finals here with this game.
Yeah. This could be it. I really cannot imagine what combination of cards Sam could have here.
I think Sam's doing his best to use his imagination to find a way to get out of this mess as well.
Humility is, I'm looking at his deck list. Humility could do it, but it doesn't seem likely that he would have brought that card in.
He's going to play a Knight of the Reliquary.
Okay, well that might buy him another turn.
I mean, the Knight's got to be huge here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So Sam
7,
can attack
7?
in with his true name nemesis and perhaps force Owen to hold one back for the Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, that could slow him down a little bit. Let's see what he comes up with here.
Sam also has the option on his following turn to Swords to Plowshares his own Knight of the Reliquary, but that only prolongs the amount of time he has left. 6 is still greater than 3. Owen's got that Batter Skull coming down. Pretty sure. And he has the Umezawa's Jitte.
It doesn't look like he's going to be able to kill Sam this turn, though.
No.
So we'll see. I mean, Knight of the Reliquary gaining, 7, 8 life or something is pretty impressive. Here's an Umezawa's Jitte. He's just going to cast it. Go grab a land with a fetch.
And equip.
Equip and attack. So take you down to 1. Get a couple of counters on my Jitte. And say go. So he's got a Stoneforge Mystic back up for blocks. He's also at 13, which is quite healthy. Stoneforge Mystic off the top for Sam Black. He does still have that Swords to Plowshares in hand. He's got a big Knight of the Reliquary. Not big enough, though.
Yeah.
No, it's really not.
If he were a little bigger, he could Swords to Plowshares away the Stoneforge Mystic, but he's not going to be able to deal 17 damage this turn.
No, and it's also not even big enough to save him from the 2 true name nemesis and the Umezawa's Jitte either.
Yeah, that's true. Sam counting it up again.
Making sure. That's it. He extends the hand, and Owen Turtenwald advances to the finals. He is going to be playing against Jared Boettcher.
The Sneak and Show player in the finals.
Against Sneak and Show. And,
His second straight Grand Prix Washington, D.C. finals.
For Owen Turtenwald. So let's take a look at our top 8 bracket here. Craig Wesco and Sam Black faced off in the quarters, where Sam Black was victorious.